So there has been some pretty substantial things that have come out on the Binance front in the last few days. And so for those of you who haven't heard, the CFTC has sued Binance for a few different things. And I have a tweet here that does a good job at picking out the big pieces of why they are suing Binance. And this might not come as a surprise to everybody, but I think most people are going to be shocked to the degree that the CFTC was claiming that these alleged things were happening. So I've got a thread here from Wolf on Twitter that does a good job at picking, again, the big pieces out of this. So he says, so Binance is being sued by the CFTC USA for basically having a secret in-house trading desk with 300 accounts. This states that Binance is basically trading against all of their users with their quant desk using private transactional data. This seems like they also sold it to Merit Peak and Sigma Chain. TLDR, Binance has an insider trading desk with data to all of your stops and have been trading against you for years. I've stated this over and over that Binance is no different than BitMEX, and here are the excerpts from the CFTC filing stating that Binance's proprietary trading activity on Binance. During the relevant period, Binance has traded on its own platform through approximately 300 house accounts that are all directly or indirectly owned by Zhao, who is CZ, the CEO of Binance, as well as accounts owned by Merit Peak and Sigma Chain. Zhao has also traded on Binance platform through 2 individual accounts. At various times during the relevant period, Merit Peak has entered into OTC transactions with Binance customers and settled such trades by depositing, and then it cuts off into the next section, which is 70 and 71. It says Binance does not disclose to its customers that Binance is trading in its own markets in its terms of use or elsewhere. Consistent with its apparent attempt to keep its proprietary trading activity on its own markets top secret, Binance has refused to respond to commission-issued investigative subpoenas seeking information concerning its proprietary trading activity on Binance, including transaction data and communications among the members of Binance, quote-unquote, quant desk. 71. On information and belief, Binance has not subjected the trading activity of Merit Peak, Sigma Chain, or its approximately 300 house accounts to any anti-fraud or anti-manipulation, surveillance, or controls to the extent Binance purports to have required its officers, employees, and agents to abide by relatively new insider trading policy. Binance's approximately 300 house accounts are exempt from that policy. So what does this mean in short? Well, basically, when you go on an exchange and you set a stop loss or you put in a buy order, right, and you set the limit on that. Let's say that you want to buy Bitcoin if Bitcoin hits 20,000. If it's currently trading above that, you can't, your trade doesn't execute until it hits 20,000. Well, that information is stored on Binance. And so what they are doing is using that to manipulate markets. You can use it the same way if you're going short or you have a sell position. Let's say you have Bitcoin that you bought at 25,000 and you have a stop loss set at like 22,000, which means once the price hits 22,000, it'll automatically sell your position. Again, Binance has that information and they have a trade desk with approximately 300 accounts. I don't know if that's 300 traders or, how many people are behind those accounts, but those accounts were set up basically to go through this data that Binance has and find out ways that it can manipulate the market using the information it has on your positions. So basically they can short Bitcoin all the way down into where they see a bunch of people stop losses, causing it to cascade down even further, get out of that trade and manipulate the Bitcoin price back up as people pile on shorts and basically just go against traders all day, taking their money. And obviously this is not something that is legal or typically allowed, which is why the CFTC is bringing this case against Binance. Now, they did state that it wasn't named in their terms of service, but I don't even know if this is legal, even if they do name this in their terms of service. This is basically this is insider trading, not basically. That's exactly what this is. which is illegal on most counts. I'm no expert on the laws of everything and how and what laws would come into play. So, if you do know all these details, feel free to share it down below. But again, basically, Binance has been trading against all of its customers in just taking their money because they have information that nobody else has. And with them being the biggest exchange, there's a lot of accounts on there, right? So they can look at like whale accounts. That's probably who they're most interested in, is the biggest accounts on the platform trading against them so that they can try to take their money because they have this insider knowledge. Now, we did get a response from Binance to all of these, the CFTC suing them. So I'm going to read through their response as well so we can hear it from their side. It says, today the CFTC filed an unexpected and disappointing civil complaint. Despite our working cooperative with the CFTC over 2 years, upon an initial review, the complaint appears to contain an incomplete recitation of facts, and we do not agree with the characterization of many of the issues alleged in the complaint. While we will only be able to give full responses in due time, we will address a few key points below. Technology for compliance in U.S. blocks. Binance.com has developed best-in-class technology to ensure compliance. Binance.com is the first global non-U.S. exchange to implement a mandatory KYC program and remains today to have one of the highest standards in KYC and AML. We block U.S. users by nationally KYC IP, including non-commonly used VPN endpoints outside of the U.S., mobile carrier, device fingerprints, bank deposit and withdrawals, blockchain deposit and withdrawals, credit card BIN numbers, and more. We are aware of no other company using systems more comprehensive or more effective than Binance. Now, I believe what they're addressing here is in the beginning of what the CFTC has talked about, and a lot of allegations that have come out against Binance stated that Binance was basically allowing money laundering by not verifying the accounts that were going onto the platform. Now, they do have a lot of KYC, procedures or whatever you want to call them. But I could see how there could, even with KYC, be loopholes, ways that these people can get in, launder money through Binance, and where Binance would not welcome it, but not stop it, because they're going to earn a lot of money on these people that are laundering money through their exchange. And I've kind of always wondered this myself, because Binance being the biggest exchange, it's not just a little bit bigger. It is way bigger and does way more volume than any other exchange. Now, I'm sure a lot of this is real traders because they did, start out really early on. They captured a lot of the market early. So I could see how their volume could be pretty significantly bigger, but sometimes I look at it and I just wonder where all this volume on Binance is coming from on days where volume is down like at every other exchange. So it would not, I don't know for sure, obviously, but it would not surprise me if they allow through some sort of loophole, illicit activity that shouldn't be allowed on the exchange. Cooperation and transparency with law enforcement. Binance is committed to transparency and cooperation with regulators and law enforcement in the U.S. and globally. Binance currently has more than 750 people in our compliance teams with prior law enforcement and regulatory agency backgrounds. To date, we have handled 55,000 plus LE requests and assisted U.S. LE freeze and seize more than $125 million in funds in 2022 alone and $160 million in 2023 so far. We intend to continue to respect and collaborate with U.S. and other regulators around the world. Registrations and licenses. Binance.com holds the highest number of licenses and registrations globally, 16 and counting, and it's well regarded by our community. Trading. Binance.com does not trade for profit or manipulate the market under any circumstances. Binance trades in a number of situations. Our revenue are in crypto. We do not need to convert them from time to time to cover expenses in fiat or other cryptocurrencies. We have affiliates that provide liquidity for less liquid pairs. These affiliates are monitored specifically not to have large profits. Personally, I have 2 accounts on Binance, one for Binance Card, one for my crypto holdings. I eat our own dog food and store my crypto on Binance.com. I also need to convert crypto from time to time to pay my personal expenses for the card. Binance.com has a 90-day no trading rule for employees, meaning you are not allowed to sell a coin within 90 days of your most recent buy or vice versa. This is to prevent any employees from actively trading. We also prohibit our employees from trading in futures. Further, we have strict policies for anyone with access to private information, such as details of listings, launch pads, etc. They are not allowed to buy or sell those coins. I observe these policies myself strictly. I also never participated in Binance Launchpad, Earn, Margin, or Futures. I know my best use of time is to build a solid platform that services our users. At Binance, we look for a more amicable solutions to all problems. We are collaborative with regulators and government agencies around the world. While we are not perfect, we hold ourselves to a high standard, often higher than what existing regulations require. And above all, we believe in doing the right thing by our users at all times. In this journey towards freedom of money, we do not expect everything to be easy. We do not shy away from challenges. We thank you for your unwavering support. So that is Binance's side of things. They're basically denying all of it, saying they have lots of things put in place and that, all of this is just hearsay. But again, I think back, I have noticed suspicious things on Binance. There's been numerous amounts of people who have come out on Twitter with screenshots of weird trading activity that's gone on Binance. Now, we don't have proof ourselves. Regulators might, but we don't have proof of Binance trading against users that I have seen. But again, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, they wouldn't be the first exchange to have this happen, right? We've seen rogue employees at everywhere from Coinbase to obviously FTX, just lots of different platforms have had rogue employees that were, manipulating the markets. We saw this with OpenSea. So again, I would not put it past Binance. Now, what makes this so substantial is it doesn't just seem like a rogue employee. It seems like an operation that the company itself has set up. And to have 300 accounts, that's a pretty significant operation. That's pretty large in size. And again, there's been, just from my point of view, lots of odd things with Binance. Like, I've always wondered how they've always had so much money. Obviously they're doing lots of volume, so they're making lots of money, but it's just weird. Like, they're one exchange that really hasn't displayed much hardship through the whole FTX fiasco, which on one side you could argue is a good thing, right? Like, oh, they're well managed, but then another side makes you question, why do they still have so much money? Why are these, so anyway, without getting into the weeds of it, again, I am keeping a very skeptical eye on this because, again, I would not I would not put it past them to have this sort of operation going on again. They would not be the first exchange to do so. So lots of money has been coming out of Binance due to all of the news that has been breaking out, which is not surprising, right? After everything that we've seen with FTX and all these other exchanges having their difficulties, I think most people are like, I'm not taking any risk, especially when you talk about like the banking crisis that we've seen in the last few weeks. With banks failing, I think most people are just done with things failing. They don't want to have their money out there. If there's any sort of news against any institution, like I said, whether it's crypto or banks, I think a lot of people feel the same way right now. Let's just take our money out. It's safer to self-custody my money anyway. There's really no risk in it. If I hold it, for myself, sure, I can't trade with it, but I know it's safer. And I think that's the mentality that a lot of people have now, after seeing everything that has happened in the past. So again, these are some pretty substantial claims against Binance that I wanted to share with you guys because, if this materializes, if this turns into something bigger, then, Binance could be in trouble here. And just the sheer news of it itself, like I said, is causing a lot of withdrawals. And on top of it, we saw Dirty Bubble just tweeted out about 6 hours ago. He says, Binance US has paused fiat deposits and withdrawals for a quote-unquote small subset of users. And they said it was due to banking developments, but I think we're starting to see cracks here. And I obviously don't want to add salt to the wound. If Binance is doing everything right, then, I hope they make it out of this and are, just continue operations and nobody gets hurt. That would be the perfect scenario, right? But again, we have seen pretty substantial evidence against Binance for the CFTC to come out and say that they have, that Binance has ties to 300 accounts that were trading against its users. That's pretty substantial, right? Like, I just, again, to me, this doesn't feel made up. I could really see this happening. So again, guys, just wanted to share this all with you. I will continue to keep you up to date on the situation. So if this is your first time to the channel, please like and subscribe. And with that being said, I will see you all next time.